So I just finished rereading all of Chainsaw Man Part 1 to make my Makima analysis video, which is coming soon. I'm still working on it. It's just taking me a bit because explaining everything is a lot. But I was reading it and I was like, wow, I forgot how short amount of time between the Santa Claus arc and final arc, which is the controller arc. I forgot how short in between these arcs happen, and how Denji had a really bad week, like a very depressing week. Like his whole life changed in the span of a week, and I wanted to talk about it. I basically want to talk about everything that happened to Denji and how it was just so sad that all this happened in 1 week. Like I'm telling you, I'm gonna explain everything, and all this happened in 1 week. I'm basically gonna explain everything bad that happened to Denji basically in the last 3 arcs. So if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe to see more content like this, and hit that bell and post it consistently. And let's talk about it. So let's start off first with some context, right? So what I'm gonna talk about is I'm gonna talk about from the end of Santa Claus basically to the end of part 1. So if you don't want to get spoiled or you haven't read it yet, click off the video. But I appreciate you, come back later and you can hear about how messed up this story is, right? So at the end of the Santa Claus arc, right, which is after Denji and the whole group fought Santa Claus, and they also fought the Darkness Devil a little bit. Basically everyone came out of that fight with trauma. Like a lot of people retired, like Kobani retired, Power walked out with like insane PTSD, Aki lost a whole arm, like Angel lost both his arms, like Beam died. Like a lot of people got messed up from the basically Santa Claus, and after them fighting the Darkness Devil for a little bit, right? And so everyone's like basically trying to like recover from it. Like even like Denji, Aki, and Power basically like all trying to recover. Like Denji's fine because we already know Denji is kind of like desensitized more than other people to like trauma and stuff like that because of everything he's gone through. And so like him and Aki are basically like trying to like take care of Power basically the entire trip, right? Basically like them like the entire time basically trying to take care of her, watch over her, because like Power would be waking up with like just panic attacks in the night and stuff like that. And so Denji and Aki are basically trying to do that. And so Denji like ends up talking with Makima, and they end up like talking at a little dinner and stuff like that. And then like Makima's like, you want to go on that trip that I talked about before the Santa Claus arc, where we go on that trip, right? And Denji's like super excited to go with Makima, and Makima says it's just them. And then Denji's like, nah, I can't go because Power is like in a really bad state and I don't want to leave her, like she needs me. And then like Makima's like, you could always just leave her at public safety. And then Denji's like, I can't do it. And we actually see like later on, like Aki asks like Denji, like, why didn't you go with Makima? And Denji just doesn't know why. He doesn't know at this time, but at this time he realizes that like Power is like really like his friend, like his best friend, like his little sister and stuff like that. And he really felt like he needed to like watch over her and stuff like that. And so a few days later, they actually decide to like go on a trip. Basically, it's like Denji and Power. This is after Power's gotten kind of over the whole Darkness Devil thing. And basically they all go like on a trip with Aki, because Aki's basically going to like his family's like gravesite to basically like just like say his prayers and stuff like that. And usually he goes by himself, but this time they're going like all together. And they all like having like basically Denji and Power are having fun, being crazy, driving Aki insane. And like even when he gets to like the family gravesite, he's even like stressing out about where they at and stuff like that. It basically was just a wacky trip, right? And later on that night, Denji and Aki are up and they end up talking. And Denji's like asking like, what's good? Are you okay? And man, this snow is crazy. And then Aki explains, he says, every year when I went to visit their grave, I remember nothing but bad things. It was depressing. But this time you guys were such pests that I didn't have the time to get lost in that. And Denji's like confused, like, you're welcome. And like, it's a cute moment between the two because like at this point in the story, Aki, Denji, and Power are like a family. Like they're really like a family. They've been together for a long time now, ever since the Eternity Devil arc, and they work together. They care about each other, and they know each other's personalities a lot, and they really help Aki a lot. Like Denji and Power really help Aki a lot, especially when he's depressed, because there were a lot of moments in the story where Aki was like upset or depressed, but then because of how much he had to like watch over Denji and Power, he didn't have time to be depressed, and that actually helped him a lot. And this moment is basically like him like thanking Denji and Power basically for being in his life a little bit, for like basically like him like not being able to like stress about everything that was depressing in his life, and him to actually like be happy with a family. Because if you don't know, if you remember, Aki's family died when he was a child. Like his brother, his mom and dad were killed by the gun devil. So this is like a moment where it's like, dang, like he really does have a family. And it's super sad because of what happens after this. So after this, right, Aki decides to come up to Kishibe and actually like tells Kishibe that like he wants to pull out of the gun devil assignment and wants to pull out Denji and Power as well. And Kichibe was like mad surprised when he heard this, because you know Aki's one of the main people throughout the entire story that's like, he's like, I want to fight the gun devil, I want to kill the gun devil. And then Kichibe's like, why do you want to, like, I can understand if you want to pull out, I'll allow that, but why do you want, like, what made you so scared? And then we actually see like a future, like a vision from Aki's perspective, where he sees Denji and Power dead from the gun devil fight, and then Aki says, I got cold feet. So like he basically, like, he's not pulling out of the gun devil fight because he's not like he's scared of the gun devil. He's scared of what the gun devil will do to like Denji and Power. Like he's scared of them dying and he doesn't want them to die. It's really sad because like after this, basically the next day, the entire division gets like called. It's like Denji, Aki, and Power get called up by Makima, and basically like Makima's like, I heard that y'all want to pull out of the gun devil, like basically like attack, and that's fine, Aki, if you want to, but Denji and Power cannot pull out of the mission. And Aki's like, why? And it's like Denji and Power are basically like super weapons, and like they don't have the ability or the authority to just pull out of these missions. Like they have no choice, they need to go. And when Aki hears that, it's like really sad. Like you see his face, he's like, dang, like he has this face of dread on his face. And then Denji's like, I'll, like, you know, it's fine, I'll do it, it don't matter, I've been waiting a long time for this. And then Power's like, it's fine, Denji's my buddy, I'll do it too. And basically when Aki hears that, he's like, dang, I guess I'll join the operation too, because he wants to watch over them, he doesn't want them to die. And when Makima hears that, she's like, yeah, of course, Aki, you can join. Of course, Denji and Power will need a guardian with them. And like, and Makima's like, don't worry about those two, you just need to worry about yourself. And it's like really sad, because like Makima was like really like, basically like, she was really torturing Aki right here, like mentally. Like, I'm gonna talk about it more in my Makima analysis video, but this is like definitely like her mental warfare on these characters. Like, this is like so sad, because like now, like after everything that's happened, Aki's like actually like thinking about more than just himself, and like he wants to like help Denji and Power, and then like basically they're forced to like go on the mission anyway, and now he needs to go as well. And it's sad because at this moment, this is basically where like he sealed like his fate, even though he was already destined to die in like a month or so because of everything that happened with the Nail Devil, the Cursed Devil, and everything like that. But it's super sad. Makima's like, yeah, you could join the mission, but like I want to let you guys know the Gun Devil's already been defeated and confined. And that she basically explains about how the Gun Devil is basically in control of like multiple countries. Like each country has a different percentage of the Gun Devil, and basically explains to them the actual like conspiracy about like what's actually going on with the Gun Devil, and how like the war against the Gun Devil isn't like trying to stop a devil necessarily, like trying to like stop like the Darkness Devil or something. It's more about trying to go to these other countries and take back the pieces of the Gun Devil. And when Aki hears that, he's just like, but like if we do that, the fear of guns will only keep rising. And like he's basically like learning the truth that like everything they're doing means nothing, because like it's still like, even if they like take the pieces of the Gun Devil from other countries, the Gun Devil will still survive. And so he learns that like basically like the whole Gun Devil thing is just like, it's gonna start a war, because like no matter what, like one country's gonna have it, and if Japan succeeds, they'll have the Gun Devil, and like basically like they're just be in control of it. And like it doesn't, like they're not killing the Gun Devil, they're just changing who controls it. And that's not what Aki and everyone else wants. They want the Gun Devil completely dead. He basically learns that like the Gun Devil was never going to be dead. Even Denji like figures that for himself as well, when Aki's telling him and stuff like that, like, yo, like no matter what, the Gun Devil will never die, so we're just really doing this for nothing. And then Denji like really realizes like, man, I made that promise with Makima, and she told me she would grant me any wish, but like we can't even kill the Gun Devil. Like he's realizing more and more the hypocrisies and the control that Makima is doing to them and stuff like that. And so after this, right, Aki actually ends up going to Angel, basically tells Angel about the vision that he saw, and that he's leaving to see the Gun Devil, and that like he wanted to say goodbye to Angel, and that like he was just mostly there to ask for his advice about what to do. And Angel's like, yo, like I know that vision, like you saw a vision that was like really, really crazy, and you know we should probably just go talk to Makima about it, because Makima would be the one to like figure everything out and stop everything. Like maybe we can just go talk to her. And so they actually decide to like go together. They actually meet up with Makima like on this beach, and like Angel's trying to tell Aki like, yo, like, you know, like if you just like quit, your vision whatever will not become like true and stuff like that. And Aki like once again like repeats like, yo, I don't want to leave like my friends, and also I have a crush on Makima. And then like Angel's asking like, why do you like Makima like that? And he's like, because she saved my life, and then like that's why I have to like, that's why I have feelings for her, and I feel like I need to do this even without like Denji and Power. I still need to do this and go help Makima and stuff like that. And so Angel and Aki meet up with Makima, and they actually like start talking. And like basically like Aki like starts crying and venting to her about like, yo, like everything that's happened is crazy. Like I see visions of me dying, Denji and Power dying, and I just want the ability to be able to save them. I just don't want them to die. And he's telling Makima like, yo, I'll be willing to make any contract with any devil just so that they survive and we can be happy. And then as soon as Makima hears that, like she immediately tells Aki, in that case, will you make a contract with me? If you give me all of you, I'll give you the strength. And Aki's like, what are you talking about? And even Angel's like surprised, like, what's going on? And like Makima tells Aki like, yo, this is an order, say you'll make a contract with me. And then as soon as like Makima says that, Angel gets flashbacks about what happened to his village. And back then at his village, he was like super happy, having fun. He even had a love, like a significant other. And then he saw Makima on a beach one day, and then Makima asked him like to show her his ability. And Angel didn't want to do that. It said like, my power brings death and stuff like that. And then Makima told Angel, show me your power, that's an order. And then the next time Angel gained consciousness, he saw that it was nighttime, and that he saw that he killed everybody on his island, including his significant other. And as soon as like Angel starts remembering everything, he looks at Aki like, yo, Aki. And it's already too late because Aki's already under Makima's control, and tells Makima that he's going to make a contract. And so he's gone. And then Angel starts like freaking out, starts telling Makima like, yo, Makima, what's going on? And stuff like that. And then Makima starts telling Angel like, oh, now you remember everything that I made you did and stuff like that. And then Angel tries to attack Makima, but then instantly gets like incapacitated. This is when we learned that Makima is the control devil as well. And so we end up seeing like basically Makima and her control over people like the Snake Girl, Angel, Aki, and also like her two subordinates that she had earlier to basically like stop the gun devil, right? And then after this, we cut to basically back to Denji and Power. And Denji and Power are basically like chilling at the crib or whatever. And they get a phone call from Makima. And Makima tells them like, yo, I wanted to give y'all like basically an abridged version, but the gun devil is like at your door. And now it's like the gun fiend. Like it took over a dead body and got away. And it's at your door. So like, get ready to fight it. And then Denji and Power are thinking like, yo, like, is this a prank? Like, are you serious? Like, the gun was just at my door. And then Makima's like, yo, I'm dead ass, and like, don't even think about anything while you fight. Like, just get rid of it. And so Denji and Power open the door, and it turns out to be Aki. That's the gun devil fiend. Like, you see Aki with this big gun head and like a gun arm and stuff like that. And like, as soon as Denji and Power see this, she's like, oh my god, this is actually like for real. And it's like, Denji's like, do we fight or something? And then we see like the gun devil fiend say Denji's name, and like, it's so sad. And basically like after this, Denji tries to like save Power and saves Power, gets her away. And basically like Denji has to fight Aki as the gun devil. And like Denji's really not trying to fight Aki. Like he's basically like telling him things, like trying to like basically like talk no jutsu him, try to basically like get him to come back, but like it's just not working. And then Denji realizes that he has to stop Aki, especially after like a bunch of the like citizens in the area start like giving their blood to Denji, telling him like, yo, please, we saw you on the news, can you please save us? Like, this guy's gonna kill all of us. And then Denji realizes that there's no other way to stop Aki, and ends up killing Aki. Basically, Aki slash the Gun Devil Fiend, since technically the Gun Devil was a fiend at this point, so Aki was technically already dead, but he had to stop Aki, which basically in his head, he's like, he killed Aki. And so it's really, really sad, because after this is when Denji like really like, this is the most depressed Denji has ever been, because after this basically he learns about how Aki saved up a will for them, and basically like they get to like use his house, and like they basically like, it was Denji and Power basically living together for a bit, and you can see that Denji's like at his lowest, like he's very, very like sad. And like this is the moment where like we actually get to see Denji like actually like feeling bad and not being desensitized to people dying, because when people died earlier in the show, he like was like, dang, that kind of sucks, but like he wasn't like sad really, he was desensitized to it. But this is the first time where he's actually like so sad that he can't eat. Like he tries to eat like an ice cream, and you see that like it says winner on it, and as soon as he sees that, he just remembers that like he killed Aki and that he's like the biggest loser, and he actually like throws up the ice cream that he was eating, which is crazy if you know Denji, because usually Denji eats anything, like we'll eat anything like no matter what, but this time he was so disgusted that he actually lost like his sense of taste. And he's even thinking about like, man, my head's all jumbled up, like food doesn't taste good, and it's just like, it's crazy. And at this moment, he actually like calls out to Pushita for help. And then as soon as he does that, he actually looks up and sees that it's Makima right there. And Makima's like asking Denji like, what's going on? What are you doing? Basically, like Denji's like super sad. And Makima's basically trying to like cheer him up and saying like, yo, like come to my house. Like we can talk, we can drink some tea together, and maybe that'll make you feel better. And so they end up going to Makima's house, right? And as soon as they get there, there's like a bunch of dolls that start licking them and like having fun, like basically like making them happy. And Denji even tells Makima like, yo, this is the happiest I've been in a minute, and like thank you, Makima. Whenever I'm sad, you come up to me and start talking to me and stuff like that. And Makima like tells Denji like that you've been through a lot and you did a good job, like you're doing good. And then Denji starts crying, and like he's like crying, but he's also crying with like happiness as well, because the dogs keep looking at him and that like Makima really helped him like be happy. And then Makima tells Denji like, do you remember our promise? I'll give you any wish you want. And as soon as Denji thinks about that, he ends up like thinking about everything. Like he thinks about everything. Like they like Fujimoto shows basically the earth to basically like symbolize like he's thinking about everything that he possibly could to figure out what he wants. And then he tells Makima that he wants to be her dog. He says that the reason he wants to be her dog is that he's tired of thinking for himself, because every time he thought for himself, bad things happen. For example, maybe because like he doesn't have like he's not that smart, and that maybe if he was smarter and had like someone that's like way better at thinking things out, then maybe he didn't have to kill Aki. Maybe there was another way to save Aki, and that maybe he'd just be better if he didn't have to think for himself, because every time he had to think for himself ever since he's been with the Devil Society, the Devil Hunter Society, bad things have happened, people have died. And maybe if he's just someone else's dog, he won't have to care about anything. He won't have to care about people dying. He won't have to care about anything like that, and he won't have to get hurt anymore. And so Makima's like telling him like, are you serious about this? And Denji's like basically saying like, yeah. And then Makima's like, are you sure? Because my dogs have to obey me with complete obedience. And basically like Makima like plays around with him for a bit, like basically like does like stereotypical dog stuff. And then like Denji's thinking like this is the right thing to do, and that whenever he's with Makima, everything's fine. And then they hear a doorbell. Denji's like, what's going on? Why is the doorbell ringing? And then Makima's like, I called power over. And then Denji's like, why? And like Makima's like telling him like, don't think about it, bro. Like, don't think about it. You're a dog. Dogs must not think. And then Denji's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it don't matter. Like, everything's good. And then Makima like grabs Denji's hand, and then they walk to the front door. And then Makima tells Denji to open the door. And then Denji's like, why? And then Makima tells him because I'm going to kill her. And then Denji's like, what? Like, actually so confused. And like, you can see like them walking up to the door, and you can see like in slow motion from Denji's perspective, and like he's going crazy in his head, like, wait, what are you talking about? And like, he's like, Miss Makima, like, what did you say? And like, are you joking? And then like Makima does like not really say anything, and then she turns around and says like, go on, open the door. Just open it. And then immediately in Denji's head, he sees like the metaphysical door in his head, basically the door that Poshita told him never to open. And then you also see like Makima also at the same time saying, open it, you'll be the one, open it, open the door. And so Denji's like, what? And then Makima's like, dude, you don't have to think about anything, just open the door, just trust me. And so Denji's like, okay, I'm gonna open the door, because she said to do it, she's probably right, like I'll just open the door. And he's like wondering like, why did Makima call power here? Oh, it's because it's my birthday tomorrow. Like they'll probably just have a cake or something. Like, Power already got a cake, and this is a surprise. Like, she's just like, Makima's just playing with me. And as soon as Denji opens the door, he does see that Power has a cake, and like Denji's like actually like nervous. Like at first I thought he'd be happy, but he's actually nervous because he sees the cake. But like he remembers what Makima said. Right then, Makima actually turns, points her hand, and kills Power. Just like boom, just blows her up. Head in the air, torso gone, legs there, just gone. Boom. And as soon as that happens, Denji looks at Makima, looks at Power on the floor, looks back at Makima, and Makima's like, your hands are cold again. Shall we go back inside? And Denji's just like in shock. And Makima just has this face of just like pure like not like did not care. Like no like emotion, just chilling, right? And so they go back into the room, and then Denji's just like, am I dreaming? Like, what's going on? And like he's asking Miss Makima like, is this a dream? And then Makima like lays on Denji's like lap. And then Denji asks Makima again, like, what's going on? And then randomly, like, as soon as like Denji does that, Makima just starts laughing her ass, like busting out laughing. I've never seen her laugh like that at all in the entire show. She's never done that. And she basically starts explaining to Denji, like, yo, in exchange for you living a normal life, Poshita gave you a heart. What you made with Poshita wasn't a promise. It was a contract. And I asked myself, how can I break that contract? How can I make you so hurt that you no longer be capable of living a normal life? So damaged that you never be able to bounce back for as long as you live. Quite the challenge, isn't it? After all, you felt plenty of happiness even living in extreme poverty with Poshita, so I decided to begin with making you a lot happier. I gave you a job and money and fed you lots of delicious food. I provided a family that would get along with you. Aki became a good big brother to you and powered the bratty little sister. I'd make that level of happiness your new normal and then destroy the whole thing. Any happiness or normality you experience from this point on, I'll be the one to create it all and destroy it all. If you overcome your grief and make friends, I'll kill them immediately. If you get married and start a family, I won't allow your wife and children to live long. And then Denji's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do something like that? And then Makima's like, because the time has come for you to atone for your sins. Makima's like, I looked into your past. Children's brains are really quite incredible. You see, they can hide bad memories away behind a door without the child even knowing it. You hid what you did behind the door for survival's sake, right? Because you'd never be able to lead a normal life otherwise. Your father didn't kill himself. You killed him, didn't you? And we see that the door that was in Denji's head that Poshita told him not to open finally opens. Denji basically opens it and sees that his father is dead on the floor with booze and stuff on the floor. And Makima says, your father was drunk and nearly killed you. You really had no choice but to kill him. But the other grown-ups wouldn't get their money back like that, so they made it out to be a suicide. You were finally able to open the door. You helped me kill Power. There might have been a way to save Hayakawa, but you killed him too. You even murdered your own father. Someone like you has no right to wish for a normal life, do they? And Denji basically agrees, and right after this is he's just dead. He's not dead, but he's basically his brain gone, cause he just learned bro, when I read this, I was like, oh my god. Why did she do that, bro? I know why she did everything, and I'm explaining the Makima video, but I'm like, why she did all that? Bro, not only did she basically kill Aki and basically you turned Aki into the gun devil fiend to basically send to Denji to basically hurt Denji more and to make him sad, but then she killed Power just so to make Denji more sad, then basically lays it down on his head that yo, also you killed your father, it's all your fault, you're the one that killed your father. And basically it also tells Denji the entire time since chapter 1, since she learned that him and Poshita bonded together, she's come up with a plan to basically hurt Denji, put him at his very highest and bring him to his lowest. And this happens in a week span. Not the chapter 1 from here, there's a week span, but just the whole everything I explained in this video, from them going on that trip with Aki to go see his family, the whole gun devil trip basically to go kill the gun devil, and then Denji having to fight the gun devil fiend and kill Aki, and then basically Denji and Power trying to basically get over the trauma of not having basically their big brother anymore, not having Aki anymore, and trying to live with just them two. And then Denji realizing that he's the one that really killed Aki, and he killed his big brother, basically killed his best friend, and then going to Makima's place and thinking that Makima's gonna save him, make him happy like she always does. But then it turns out Makima's the one that did everything from the start, and is actually the one that's been planning to do this since chapter 1, and has never been Denji's friend or never been a supportive person for Denji, but only did all this so that she can get what she wanted from him, which is just Poshita and Chainsaw Man. Oh my god, it's so much. It's so much that happened. I was like, bro, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen. Why? This is whenever people say they hate Makima, this is mostly what they're talking about. This is the moment where we're finally realizing how terrifying Makima is, and she really did all of this for so long and just took him to the highest he could ever be just to bring him back to hell and stuff like that. But I'm not going to explain more about the end of part 1. That's mostly going to be from the Makima video. I basically went into a lot of details that I'm already going to go in the Makima video, but this is basically what I wanted to talk about, basically Denji's worst week and how this just all happened, and then everything after this I'm explaining the Makima video happens the same day, either the same day. I think the final fight with Makima actually happens maybe the next day, so it takes place in a week span, like I said. But this is everything I want to talk about for Denji's worst week. This is probably one of the worst things I've heard in anime that's happened to a character, probably next to Yuji, next to Guts and stuff like that. Let me know down below other characters in fiction that have had horrible weeks like this, where just everything just happened to them in a week span like this, just everything just, ooh, it's a lot. But leave a like, subscribe to see more content like this, and hit that bell to post it consistently, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.